For today's creepy gaming oddity, I present a myth in gaming that is so obscure and undiscussed that even I had a hard time finding any information on it. I'm excited to bring this one to light, so I'm just going to jump right into it. In 1989, a gaming corporation known as the Carvina Corporation made and released a video game known as Killswitch. Don't get it confused with the modern day Killswitch, however. Its popularity was incredibly short-lived. It was released innocently enough as a horror survival game and was supposedly considered a precursor to the Myst and Silent Hill franchises. The graphics were monochrome, meaning gray and white shapes against a background, which I'm assuming looked much like today's infamous horror PC game, Witch. Apparently, during gameplay, slowed down MIDI versions of Czech folk songs would play. I have here the only known recording of music from this game, supposedly. There were two characters a player could choose between: an invisible demon named Ghast, or a human woman named Porto. I have only found minor artists' representations across the web of what Porto may have looked like. Supposedly, playing as Ghast was very difficult since he was invisible, and players would want to restart the game since judging distances for things such as jumps was nearly impossible while playing as Ghast. While Ghast had poison and fire-based attacks, the difficulty led to Porto becoming the real default character. Porto's only ability was to randomly expand and contract in size throughout the game, without the player's control. As the game begins, Porto wakes up in the dark with her elbows wounded. She begins to seek a way out of wherever she is, and we learn that she is ascending through levels of an old, abandoned, or so we think, coal mine. We learn slowly that she used to be an employee of this coal mine. There was an incredibly deep and mysterious story, supposedly hidden in code, in which the player would discover different magnetic tapes, files, mutilated factory workers, and deciphering an incredibly difficult code inscribed on iron axes. According to legend, a player of the game named Porto881 posted the cipher to the code and allowed players to finally crack it. However, attempts to contact him have been unsuccessful, and the username is no longer in service. Once the player has solved the code, Porto puts together a tape player, and a male voice tells her the fires of the earth have risen up in defense of their mining of the earth. Fires of the earth was assumed and believed to be demons such as Ghast. The end of the game consists of the player ingesting raw coal to keep Porto's body size under control, which is needed to walk through small areas of the tunnels and escape. However, as Porto crawls through the final tunnel to emerge above ground, the screen, without warning, goes completely white. The game, by design, deletes itself upon the player completing the game. Rumored to not be recoverable by any means not copyable, and all traces of existence removed from the player's hard drive entirely. This means the game can only be beaten once, as either Porto or Ghast. Now, the outcry of Killswitch's player base, as you can imagine, was enormous. Players wanted to buy more copies of the game so they could replay it, but the Carvina Corporation only released a meager 5,000 copies and would not make further editions. This is supposedly an excerpt of a 1990 press release from the Carvina Corporation. Killswitch was designed to be a unique playing experience. Like reality, it is unrepeatable, unretrievable, and illogical. One might even say ineffable. Death is final, death is complete. The fates of Porto and her beloved Ghast are as unknowable as our own. It is the desire of the Carvina Corporation that this be so, and we ask our customers to respect that desire. Rest assured, Carvina will continue to provide the highest quality of games to the West, and that Killswitch is merely one among our many wonders. Referring to Ghast as Porto's beloved intrigued obsessed gamers. What was the connection between the two? Obsessed players would run out in a frantic search to find remaining copies of the game. They wanted to know what happens if you beat the game as Ghast. Many speculated on what Ghast's completion of the game would be like, but by the time it was questioned, no more copies were available to be dispensed. To find a copy today is considered to be an unfathomably rare occurrence, but a supposed shrink-wrapped, mint-condition copy was sold at auction in the year 2005 for $733,000 to a man named Yamamoto Ryuichi. Yamamoto intended to film his playing of the game to all those curious and upload it for all to see. However, the only film which has supposedly surfaced is an incredibly infamous legend amongst gamers, a 1 minute and 45-second video of Yamamoto looking on the edge and haggard at his computer. The player select screen can be seen over his shoulder, and Yamamoto is crying and sobbing. While this video hasn't released and I haven't seen any proof, I have to say, this is one of the weirdest myths I have ever heard, and I've been able to collect very little data on it. However, in fact, I've only been able to find one video of the game at all. While most likely hoaxed, this is supposedly a very short video of what the player select screen looked like. After much digging, the remaining evidence I was able to find was a supposed post about the game on Steam's Greenlight. However, clicking on the link to supposed screenshots of the game now only brings us to a post-deleted error screen. 2 images have surfaced, supposedly this being the start screen of the game, and this, well, perhaps just some sort of advertising image for the game. There is nothing else I can find to support that this game existed, so I, for once, cannot clarify its validity. It's just as mysterious to me now as it was before I found out anything about this at all. So, I'm asking, if you guys want, please let me know if you find out anything about this, and let me know by way of comment or message. I will have a link posted in my video description of the full story of Killswitch. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.